So greetings, greetings, and happy spring equinox for all of you mystery lovers, lovers of the mystery schools and initiatic traditions across the world. This is a place to behold. This is Eleusis, Eleusina, where the Eleusinian mysteries took place for thousands of years here in the sacred lands of Greece. And it is such a special blessing to be here on the spring equinox, inviting in the energy as the sun moves into the sign of Aries. And Persephone, the goddess, the queen of the underworld, has arisen today, as half the year she spends down in the underworld and half the year she spends here on land. So I want to share a little bit about the Eleusinian mysteries and about this particular myth of Persephone and Demeter and how we get the seasons of the year. And the legacy of this place is what astounds me. Honestly, having come to Greece for many years, this place is very much off the tourist beaten track. It is a place where thousands of years, initiates from Athens, the royal society, the most powerful people from other countries as well, other kingdoms, would come to get a glimpse of the afterlife, of the spiritual initiation into the mysteries. So what was happening here? Well, basically, it's a mystery. But is it a mystery that we don't know anything about? Absolutely not. We know quite a few things. So first off, we know that this was a place that was very sacred to the goddess Demeter. Okay, the goddess Demetra, or Demeter, who in Roman times became Ceres, was the goddess of the earth, the goddess of the harvest, of abundance, of agriculture. And so here is the myth. Goddess Persephone, who is Demetra's daughter, and I have a nice little statue here of Persephone, okay? So Persephone, who is the daughter of Zeus and Demetra, was out playing in the fields with some friends, one fine day, as they say, and stumbled upon a narcissus flower, okay? And it was getting a little bit late in the afternoon, almost blending towards the evening, and she knew she probably should have gone back home, but her curiosity got the best of her. And what happened in that moment as she bent down to pick the narcissus flower, boom, the world of the underworld opened up. The earth opened up beneath her, and Hades came and took her. Hades, the god of the underworld, took her down into his domain, right? In many myths, she was kidnapped and taken down into the underworld. And so Demeter, the loving goddess of the earth and agriculture, was absolutely beside herself because she couldn't find her daughter anywhere for days and weeks. And especially there was a 9-day period where she did not eat, did not drink, was absolutely in grief. And being the goddess of agriculture and wheat and the fertility of the land, what happened? Everything went fallow. And so on her quest to find her daughter, this was starting to affect all the humans. And Zeus said, okay, we got to figure something out here because this is not working, because if there's no humans to adore us deities and gods and goddesses, then our gig is kind of up. So Demeter was on this path trying to find her daughter, and eventually someone told her that, oh, the only place that she could be is in Hades, in the underworld, taken by the god Hades. And she, of course, having had a child, Persephone, with Zeus, was very upset because Zeus knew about this. And so Demetra said, you know what? If you're going to play this game and not let me get my daughter, because Zeus said, yeah, there's not much I can do about it, Demetra said, fine, I am going to let all of the earth run fallow. I am going to, absolutely nothing will grow at this time. It doesn't matter because I am without my daughter, the most precious thing to me. And so began the negotiations. And so eventually the god Hermes, who's the one who can travel between the realms, the upper world, the middle world, and the underworld, and the goddess Hecate, okay, who's like the goddess of witchcraft and all of the earthly traditions and the crossroads, and has the keys as well to the underworld. They got together to have their negotiations, and they went down into the underworld to talk to Hades to see what they could do about getting Persephone to come back. So Not so easy. Why? Because as she was down there, she partook of the pomegranate. The pomegranate is the sacred fruit of the underworld. And this is richly and amazingly symbolic. In many myths, because of this, she was bound. She could not leave the underworld, right? And that is all partially symbolic of her having had sex with Hades. In many myths, she was raped. But this can be it depends on your view, on your lens about this particular myth, because the patriarchal approach is that this is all about the control of women. No, not so. Because what happened? As a result of her eating the pomegranate, and essentially this is a process of her really ripening into her own sexual maturity as a woman, she became the queen of the underworld. And so what happened? The negotiating team of Hecate and Hermes said, listen, Demeter, Zeus, they need Persephone back because everything is going fallow on the earth. Hades said, you know what? I'll give you 6 months. And so that is how 6 months of the year, Persephone is above ground, and therefore her mother Demeter is happy, and everything is growing. That is where the agriculture comes, and she comes above ground on the spring equinox. That's today. And then 6 months of the year, she's in the underworld. So every fall or autumnal equinox, she goes back into the underworld to serve as her role of queen of the dead alongside Hades. And so this is not a myth of, oh, poor, sad Persephone. This is a myth about the initiation into the full maturity of a woman's power. Because as a result of her journey, she becomes queen of the living and the dead, both realms. And so eventually she comes back out, and Demeter is happy, and everything grows once again, and you can see the wonderful sunshine. Everything is back here on the earth, growing, and this is a story about the seasons, right? So half the year we're in winter, half the year we're in summer. Starting at the fall equinox, everything starts the dying process, and starting at the spring equinox, starts the life being renewed again here on the physical plane, on the earth. And Demeter blesses everyone with amazing, delicious Greek tomatoes. So, the Eleusinian mysteries here were very much honoring this particular myth. But also, there was a very special pilgrimage or spiritual journey that was made all the way from Athens, all day long, here to Eleusis, okay? And thousands of people would come in this parade, in this procession, with the intention, with the goal of seeing the divine. And so what exactly they did when they got here, that is up to some speculation. There are different scholars with different ideas. But what we do know, they went through rigorous protocols of fasting, of eating specific things, of not eating anything. On their journey, there were particular songs or hymns or chants that they would make in order to invoke Demeter, Persephone, and this whole mythological story. And then when they got here, they would enter into this place known as the Telesterion. Of course, now it's not in its full glory, but this would have actually been a glorious temple where initiates would be taken into chambers that were completely dark, maybe lit only by torch, but eventually only gone into the darkness, where they would be, through whatever the practices were, brought into a disorienting state. And there was also some particular beverage known as the kykeon that was partaken. Many scholars also believe that this was a psychedelic substance, probably with ergot. They've found actually remnants of ergot here on some old bread, I believe, or some in some pottery, some things that they have found here on this particular site. So probably they ingested in this mind-altering substance, and they were taken in through a series of initiations. Part of this journey was to get a glimpse of the afterlife. To get a glimpse of the afterlife so that when they actually do die, they would go to the most wonderful heavens rather than down into the terrible depths of hell or purgatory. But it was also this particular initiation, the mystery initiation of getting a glimpse into the other world, that is what many of us call a rebirth or a near-death experience. And it's through that near-death experience that you truly learn to live. This is what many folks will call a dark night of the soul or an ego death. But it is through that specific initiation that one truly understands the beauty of life. Because once you've seen the other side, you come back renewed with a deeper sense of appreciation for everything that you have in your life. And so that was what was going on here for thousands of years. And in fact, it was so revered and sacred that that's part of the mystery of it. They could not, all of the initiates could not tell anybody. And it was so much a secret of what was going on here that the punishment was even death if you were found out to have told what was going on here at Eleusis. We do know that there was a Hierophant. There's an amazing museum that you can check out here. But for those of y'all that are into the tarot, the Hierophant card, okay? There was a Hierophant, which comes from Greek, etymologically, meaning the revealer of the divine or the revealer of the sacred. That was the priest or the spiritual leader that was helping to initiate everyone. And so it is your guess as much as it is mine, all of the intricacies and details of what was happening here. But we do know that there was a very special 9-day period where initiates would go through this process, and it was honestly so powerful and impactful that it survived for thousands of years. So they were doing something here. That we know for sure. So I want to send a special blessing to you. It is the spring of 2025. We are entering into a new era. The sun is in Aries. Neptune is about to go into Aries on March 30th. And I wish you a wonderful blessing here from Eleusis. Blessings from the goddess Persephone, who has risen once again from the underworld for the next 6 months. And for now, I'll see you later.